Kim Hyun walked into the giant council chamber for what he did not know would be the last time. The room was huge, with seats for over 200 different alien species. Each seat was made for a different body type. Some aliens needed water tanks, others needed special gas to breathe. The humans had simple chairs, which many aliens thought was boring. Kim Hyun was Earth's main ambassador to the Galactic Council. He had been doing this job for 15 years. His hair was starting to turn gray from all the stress. Today felt different, though. The air in the chamber felt heavy and tense. Behind him walked Lee Dae-ho, Earth's top military advisor. Lee Dae-ho was a tall man with sharp eyes who missed nothing. He carried a data pad with information about today's big problem. Next to him was Park Soo-jin, who led all of Earth's diplomats in space. She was known for staying calm even when aliens were screaming at each other. The three humans took their seats in the middle section of the chamber. For 30 years, humans had sat here. For 30 years, they had helped solve the galaxy's worst problems. When two alien races wanted to fight, they called humans to make peace. When trade deals went bad, humans fixed them. When planets had disasters, humans sent help first. Today's problem was about the Kepler Nebula. This was a huge cloud of gas and dust in space that had rare metals inside. Two alien groups both wanted it. The Alterian hegemony was a group of tall, blue-skinned aliens who were very proud. The Crystalline Collective was made of aliens who looked like living diamonds. Both groups were very powerful and very stubborn. Chancellor Vexatai of the Nexari Empire stood up to speak. The Nexari were one of the oldest alien races in the galaxy. They had purple skin and 4 arms. Vexatai was very old and thought he was smarter than everyone else. The council will now hear the dispute over the Kepler Nebula, Vexatai said in his deep voice. Both parties have agreed to binding arbitration. The Alterian leader, General Kethmore, stood up. He was 8 feet tall and his blue skin had silver markings that showed his rank. The hegemony has mined that region for 300 years. It belongs to us. Then the crystalline speaker rose. Her name was Shardis and her body was made of what looked like clear crystal that sparkled in the light. The collective's survey teams mapped those resources first. Our claim is older and stronger. Both aliens started talking louder. Soon they were shouting at each other in their own languages. Other aliens in the chamber picked sides and joined in. The noise grew louder and louder. Kim Hyun stood up slowly. The chamber became quiet. This was how it always worked. When humans stood to speak, everyone listened. Humans had a gift for finding solutions that worked for everyone. Honored council members, Kim Hyun began. Earth has studied this dispute carefully. We believe there is a solution that benefits both parties. But Chancellor Vexatai held up one of his 4 hands. The human will remain silent. Kim Hyun blinked in surprise. I'm sorry, Chancellor. Did you say humans will observe only? This matter is too important for lesser species to interfere. The words hit the chamber like a bomb. Lesser species. In 30 years, no one had ever called humans that in the council chamber. Lee Dae-ho's hand tightened on his datapad. Park Soo-jin's eyes went cold. Elder Thrakvan of the ancient Vorthak species nodded his huge head. The Vorthak looked like giant turtles and were the oldest race in the galaxy. The Nexari speaks wisdom. Humans should watch and learn, not attempt to guide their betters. Kim Hyun felt something break inside his chest. For 3 decades, humans had given everything to this council. They had spent billions of credits. They had sent their best people to live far from Earth. Human soldiers had died keeping peace on alien worlds. Human doctors had saved millions of alien lives. Human engineers had built most of the space stations that kept the galaxy connected, and now they were being called lesser species. Lee Dae-ho started to stand, but Kim Hyun held up his hand. The military advisor had information that could solve this problem in an hour. The humans had found a way to split the Kepler Nebula's resources fairly. They had even found extra deposits that neither side knew about. But now they were not allowed to speak. The council votes on the human question, Chancellor Vexatai announced. All in favor of reducing human status to junior observers? Hands, claws, tentacles, and other alien body parts rose around the chamber. Kim Hyun counted them with growing disbelief. 60% of the council voted yes. Species that humans had saved from wars voted yes. Aliens whose planets humans had helped after natural disasters voted yes. Races that owed their existence to human medical aid voted yes. Only a few small species voted no. The rest either voted yes or did not vote at all. The motion passes, Vexatai declared. Humans are now junior observers with no speaking privileges. Park Soo-jin looked at Kim Hyun. Lee Dae-ho looked at both of them. Without saying a word, all three humans stood up. They walked toward the exit of the chamber. The alien voices behind them grew confused. This was not how things usually went. When the council made a decision, everyone accepted it and moved on. "Where are you going?" Chancellor Vextai called out. His voice sounded surprised. Kim Hyun stopped at the big doors that led out of the chamber. He turned around and looked at the hundreds of aliens staring at him. He thought about all the years of work, all the problems solved, all the lives saved, all the times humans had put alien needs before their own needs. "We're going home," Kim Hyun said simply. "Good luck with your nebula dispute." The three humans walked out. The doors closed behind them with a soft sound that seemed very loud in the suddenly quiet chamber. In the hallway outside, more humans were waiting. Word had spread quickly about what happened inside. Captain Song Min-ho of the Earth Defense Force was there. Dr. Yoon Hae-jin from the Medical Corps was there. Engineer Choi Sung-woo from the Construction Division was there. Dozens of other humans who worked for the council in different jobs were there. They all looked at Kim Hyun with the same question in their eyes. "Pack everything," Kim Hyun said quietly. "We're leaving." "All of us?" asked Dr. Yoon Hae-jin. "All of us," Kim Hyun confirmed. "Send the recall order to every human in council space. Military, civilian, diplomatic, medical, everyone. We're going home." Captain Song Min-ho nodded slowly. "What about our ongoing missions? The peace talks on Draxenfor, the hospital ship near the spiral border, the construction project at—" "Everything stops," Park Soo-jin said firmly. "If we're junior observers, then we observe from Earth." Behind the closed doors of the council chamber, the aliens were starting to argue about the Kepler Nebula again. But now there were no humans to help them find a solution. The shouting grew louder and louder. Kim Hyun and the other humans walked away from the sound. They had spent 30 years trying to make the galaxy a better place. Now the galaxy could try to make itself better without them. As they walked toward the transport station, none of them looked back. They did not see the first fight break out in the council chamber. They did not see Chancellor Vextai trying to call for order, as more aliens joined the argument. They did not see the Alterian and crystalline delegations storm out in opposite directions. The humans just walked away. And with each step they left behind 3 decades of being the galaxy's problem solvers, peacekeepers, and helpers. The age of human involvement in galactic affairs was over. What came next would be up to the aliens to figure out by themselves. Captain Choi Min-ho was loading medical supplies onto his ship when the message came through. His freighter, the Soul's Pride, was parked on the surface of Zephyr Prime. All around the landing pad, sick aliens lay on stretchers waiting for human medicine. The Zephyrians looked like tall, thin cats with silver fur. They were usually very healthy, but a strange plague had hit their planet 6 months ago. Their own doctors could not stop it. Human medical teams had come to help like they always did. Choi Min-ho read the message on his communication device. The words were simple but shocking. All human personnel return to Earth immediately. No exceptions. Recall Order Alpha 7. He had never seen a Recall Order Alpha 7 before. That was the code for total evacuation. It meant every human in the galaxy had to come home right now. "Captain," his first officer, Lee Yun-seo, walked up the loading ramp. She was carrying a box of medicine that could save hundreds of Zephyrian lives. "Is something wrong?" "You look upset." Choi Min-ho showed her the message. Lee Yun-seo read it twice, then looked at the sick aliens outside their ship. "But Captain, if we leave now, these people will die. Dr. Yunari says the plague will kill half the planet without our medicine." Dr. Yunari was the best human doctor in this part of the galaxy. She had been working on Zephyr Prime for 4 months without a break. She had figured out how to modify human medicine to work with Zephyrian biology. No other species had been able to do that. Choi Min-ho felt sick to his stomach. "Orders are orders. We're leaving, but Captain, pack everything. We leave in 2 hours." Word spread quickly through the human medical camp. Dr. Yunari came running to the ship. Her face was red from working in the hot sun. Her medical coat was dirty from taking care of sick aliens all day. "Captain Choi, you cannot be serious. These people need us. Without our treatment protocols, the mortality rate will jump to 70%. Choi Min-ho had known Dr. Yunari for 3 years. She was the kind of person who would work until she collapsed if it meant saving lives. Seeing her upset made this even harder. Doctor, I don't like this any more than you do. But the order came from Earth Command. Every human in the galaxy is going home. What happened? Did someone attack Earth? I don't know. The message just says recall everyone immediately. Dr. Yu Nari looked back at the medical camp where hundreds of Zephyrians were lying under white tents. Some were children. Some were very old. All of them would probably die without human help. Give me 24 hours, she pleaded. Just one more day to train their doctors in our procedures. I'm sorry, Doctor. 2 hours. All across the galaxy, similar scenes were happening. On the border world of Cathara, human peacekeeping forces were packing their weapons and leaving their posts. For 5 years, they had kept 2 alien races from starting a war over water rights. Now the aliens would have to figure it out themselves. Commander Park Woo-jin was in charge of the Cathara mission. He watched his soldiers load their equipment onto transport ships. Below them, alien refugees who had been protected by human forces looked up at the sky with confused expressions. Sir, said Sergeant Kim Do-hyun, the Catharan Prime Minister is asking for a meeting. He wants to know why we're leaving. Tell him to contact Earth if he wants answers, Commander Park replied. We're just following orders. On the massive Andromeda Gateway construction site, human engineers were shutting down the most ambitious project in galactic history. The gateway was supposed to connect distant parts of the galaxy with instant travel. It was 60% finished after 8 years of work. Chief Engineer Kang Woo-jin stood on the command platform looking at the enormous structure. It was beautiful, and would have been humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy. Now it would sit unfinished in space forever. No other species had the knowledge to complete it. Shut it all down, he told his team. Download all the research data and wipe the computers. Sir, what about the stability systems? Asked Engineer Han Ji-young. If we don't maintain them, the incomplete structure could become dangerous. Kang Woo-jin thought about that. The gateway used experimental technology that bent space and time. If something went wrong, it could damage nearby star systems. But that was not humanity's problem anymore. Leave a warning beacon. After that, it's not our responsibility. On Earth, Director Kang Woo-jin of the Human Colonial Administration was coordinating the biggest evacuation in history. His office had maps showing every human settlement outside the Sol system. There were thousands of them. Scientists on research stations, traders at alien ports, farmers on colony worlds, diplomats at alien capitals. All of them had to come home. How many people are we talking about? Asked his assistant, Lieutenant Commander Yoon Min-jung. 12 million humans scattered across 800 different locations. Kang Woo-jin replied. We need to bring them all home in 6 months. Is that even possible? It has to be. Start with the most isolated positions first. Emergency evacuation protocols for everyone. The news spread through alien space like wildfire. Humans were leaving everywhere. Species that had never paid much attention to humans suddenly realized how many things humans did for the galaxy. On the trade world of Nexus Station, alien merchants watched in confusion as human cargo ships stopped arriving. Humans controlled 40% of interstellar shipping. Without them, many planets would not get the supplies they needed. Station Master Vector was a short green alien with 6 eyes. He had been running Nexus Station for 20 years. Human traders had always been his most reliable partners. They delivered on time, charged fair prices, and never cheated anyone. Where are the humans going? He asked Captain Young Hai-min, one of the last human traders on the station. Home, Captain Young replied simply. We're all going home. But what about the supply run to the outer colonies? They need medical equipment. Find someone else to deliver it. There is no one else. Human ships are the only ones that can make that run safely. Captain Young just shrugged. That sounds like a problem for the Galactic Council to solve. The most important departure was happening at the Void War Memorial. This was an ancient and dangerous artifact left over from a war that happened millions of years ago. It contained technology that could break reality itself if it was not properly contained. For 300 years, different alien species had tried to study the memorial safely. Many had died trying. Only humans had figured out how to keep it stable. Dr. Song Hye-jin had been the memorial's chief scientist for 12 years. Are you sure about this? Asked her assistant, Dr. Lim Dong-hyun. If the containment field fails, it could destroy 3 star systems. Dr. Song Hye-jin looked at the readings on her instruments. The memorial was stable for now, but it needed constant maintenance. I've set the automated systems to last for 18 months. After that, She shrugged. After that, what? After that, it's not our problem anymore. As the weeks passed, more and more humans disappeared from galactic space. The aliens began to realize how much they had depended on human expertise. Human doctors had been treating diseases that alien doctors could not cure. Human engineers had been maintaining technology that other species did not understand. Human diplomats had been preventing wars that would have killed billions. The final evacuation was the hardest to watch. On the refugee world of Haven, humans had been feeding and protecting 10 million aliens who had lost their homes to various disasters. The refugees came from dozens of different species. Many were children. Administrator HFY War had been running Haven for 7 years. She had turned an empty planet into a place where homeless aliens could build new lives. Now she had to abandon them. Please, begged refugee leader Mektos, an elderly alien with gray scales and sad eyes. Do not leave us here alone. We do not know how to run the food systems. We do not know how to maintain the shelters. HFY War felt tears in her eyes. I'm sorry. I've uploaded all the technical manuals to your computers. You'll have to learn. But many of us cannot read human technical language. Please, just a few humans to help us transition. I can't. Orders are orders. 6 months after the recall order, the last human ship left alien space. Captain John Tai-hyun piloted his scout ship through the newly activated defense barrier around the Sol system. Behind him, the galaxy was already starting to fall apart without human help. Earth's orbital defense grid was now the most powerful in the galaxy. No alien ship could get through without permission. Long-range sensors watched everything that happened in nearby space. But no human ship went out to help anymore. All communications from alien governments were answered with the same automated message. Humanity is no longer available for galactic affairs. Please direct all inquiries to the Galactic Council. 12 million humans had come home. They brought with them all the knowledge and experience of 30 years in galactic space. They also brought anger, disappointment, and a determination never to be taken for granted again. The age of human assistance was over. What happened next would be entirely up to the aliens who had called them a lesser species. General Ro Seung-hwan sat in his office on Luna Station, watching the galactic news feeds. 6 months had passed since humanity withdrew from galactic affairs. The news was getting worse every day. On the main screen, a reporter was talking about the Kepler Nebula War. The Alterian hegemony and the Crystalline Collective had been fighting for 3 months now. What started as a territorial dispute had become a full-scale war. The death toll has reached 40 million, the reporter said. Both sides refused to accept mediation from any non-human species. General Ro's intelligence officer, Han Ji-young, walked into the room carrying a data pad. She looked tired. Monitoring galactic disasters had become a full-time job. The latest reports, sir, she said, setting the pad on his desk. The Alterians used fusion bombs on 3 crystalline colony worlds yesterday. The Crystallines responded by destroying an Alterian space station with 2 million people on it. General Ro read the report and shook his head. Any requests for human intervention? 47 requests in the last week. From both sides, plus 6 neutral species who are getting caught in the crossfire. And our response? The same as always. All requests are referred to the Galactic Council. Through the window of his office, General Ro could see Earth hanging in space like a blue and white jewel. It looked peaceful from here. No one would guess that 12 million refugees from galactic space were now living on Earth and its colonies. All of them angry about being called a lesser species. On another screen, a different crisis was unfolding. The plague that Dr. Yunari had been fighting on Zephyr Prime had spread to other worlds. Without human medical expertise, the disease had jumped to new species. Dr. Kim Yoon-soo, who was now working at a research lab on Mars, was watching the same reports. The plague had reached 47 different worlds. Billions of aliens were at risk. It's mutating faster than their scientists can track it, she told her research team. They don't understand how to create broad-spectrum treatments like we do. Her assistant, Dr. Park Min-jun, looked at the infection rate charts. The numbers were terrifying. Dr. Kim, we could create a universal vaccine in 6 weeks. Why aren't we helping? Dr. Kim Yoon-soo remembered working 18-hour days to save Zephyrian children. She remembered alien governments thanking humans with words while treating them like servants. She remembered being called a lesser species. Because they didn't want our help when things were good. They only want us now that things are bad. The economic news was even worse. Lim Dong-hyun had been Earth's chief economist to the Galactic Council. Now he worked for the Earth Treasury Department, tracking the collapse of galactic commerce. Interstellar trade is down 78%, he reported to the Earth Economic Council. 6 minor species are facing complete economic collapse. The Zephyrians can't export their rare crystals because human ships were their only reliable transport. The Altarian agricultural worlds can't import the fertilizers they need because humans controlled those supply chains. Council member Yang Soo-young asked the obvious question. What are they doing to replace human services? Trying everything. The Nexari hired Vorthak shipping companies, but they charge 3 times more than humans did, and their ships break down constantly. The Crystalline Collective is attempting to build their own medical research facilities, but they're 50 years behind human medical technology. The biggest disaster was happening at the Andromeda Gateway construction site. Chief Engineer Kang Woo-jin had left detailed warnings about the unfinished structure, but the aliens had ignored them. Engineer Yoon Hae-jin was monitoring the situation from her new job at the Earth Space Engineering Corps. The incomplete gateway was becoming unstable. The experimental technology that bent space and time was starting to malfunction without proper maintenance. The gravitational distortions are getting stronger, she reported to her supervisor. The incomplete gateway is creating space-time ripples that are disrupting ship traffic in 3 star systems. Any alien attempts to fix it? The Vorthak tried to send an engineering team last month. They lost 2 ships and 30 crew members to gravitational shear. The Nexari are claiming the humans sabotaged the project before leaving. Did we? Of course not. We just warned them that incomplete space-time engineering is dangerous. They chose not to listen. But the most serious crisis was developing at the Void War Memorial. Dr. Song Hee-jin had predicted that the automated containment systems would last 18 months. She had been optimistic. Dr. Choi Sung-woo was now monitoring the memorial from his lab on Europa. The ancient artifact was becoming more unstable every day. Without human scientists to maintain the containment field, reality itself was starting to crack around the memorial. The containment field is fluctuating, he reported to Earth Defense Command. If it fails completely, the reality distortion could spread across 3 star systems. We're talking about the potential destruction of 12 inhabited worlds. Admiral Park Dong-wook reviewed the report with growing concern. How long do we have? 6 months, maybe less. The alien species near the memorial are starting to panic. The Nexari government sent a formal request for human assistance yesterday. What was our response? The standard reply. All requests should be directed to the Galactic Council. And what is the Council doing about it? Nothing useful. They're still arguing about who has the authority to make decisions now that humans aren't there to mediate. The political situation in galactic space was getting worse every day. Without human diplomats to mediate disputes, old conflicts were flaring up everywhere. Species that had been enemies before humans arrived were becoming enemies again. Ambassador Kim Hyun, who was now working for the Earth Foreign Ministry, was tracking 17 different regional conflicts. Some were small border disputes. Others threatened to become major wars. The Thraxian Empire is mobilizing its fleet against the Selkan Republic, he reported to the Foreign Ministry staff meeting. The Selkans are requesting human mediation. Foreign Minister Lee So-young asked, what was the original dispute about? Fishing rights in the Kepler Delta. It's the same conflict we helped them resolve 8 years ago. Without ongoing human oversight, they've gone back to threatening each other. The refugee crisis was also getting worse. Haven, the refugee world that Administrator Oh Hai-wan had abandoned, was falling apart. The 10 million alien refugees had no idea how to maintain the complex systems that kept their world running. The food production systems were failing. The atmospheric processors were breaking down. The power grid was becoming unstable. Without human engineers to fix things, the refugees were facing starvation and death. Refugee leader Mektos sent desperate messages to Earth every day. Please just send technical advisors. We will pay any price. Our children are dying. The messages were filed with all the other requests for help. Earth's official response never changed. All requests should be directed to the Galactic Council, but the Galactic Council was too busy arguing to help anyone. Chancellor Vextai of the Nexari had tried to take control of the council, but the other species refused to follow him. The Vorthak elders claimed they were too old to lead. The younger species lacked the experience to manage galactic affairs. Every council session ended the same way. with different species blaming each other for the crisis and no decisions being made. Meanwhile, the economic collapse was accelerating. Captain Jung Heyman had been right when he told Station Master Vectar to find someone else to deliver supplies to the outer colonies. No one else could make those dangerous runs safely. The outer colonies were now cut off from the rest of the galaxy. They had no medical supplies, no replacement parts for their equipment, and no way to export their products. Several colony worlds were planning to abandon their settlements and become refugees. Themselves, President John Tae-hyun received daily briefings on the galactic situation from his office in New Seoul. The reports painted a picture of accelerating collapse. Without human expertise, the galaxy was falling apart faster than anyone had expected. "Sir," his chief of staff said during one morning briefing, "we're receiving over 10,000 requests for assistance every day. Medical emergencies, engineering disasters, diplomatic crises, economic problems. They all want human help. And our response? The same as always. We refer them to the Galactic Council. Are they getting help from the Council? No, sir. The Council is still deadlocked. They can't make any major decisions without human mediation." President John looked out his window at the bustling streets of New Seoul. 12 million former galactic residents were building new lives on Earth. They had brought their expertise, their experience, and their anger with them. "Any regrets about our decision?" his chief of staff asked. President John thought about all the alien lives that could be saved if humans returned to galactic affairs. Then he thought about 30 years of thankless service ending with humans being called a lesser species. "Ask me that question after they learn to treat us with respect," he said. The galaxy was learning a hard lesson. Some services are so important that you don't realize how much you need them until they're gone. Humans had been the galaxy's doctors, engineers, diplomats, and peacekeepers. Now the galaxy had to face its problems without them. 1 year after humanity's withdrawal, Chancellor Vexatai of the Nexari Empire made a decision that would have been unthinkable 12 months earlier. He was going to personally travel to the Sol system and ask humans for help. Vexatai stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Nexari Glory, as it approached Earth's defensive barrier. The barrier was unlike anything in the galaxy. It was a wall of energy that completely surrounded the Sol system. No ship could pass through without human permission. "Chancellor," his communication officer reported, "the humans are scanning our ship. They're asking for our business." Vexatai swallowed his pride. 1 year ago, he had called humans a lesser species. Now he needed their help desperately. "Tell them Chancellor Vexatai of the Nexari Empire requests an audience with President John Tae-hyun of the United Earth Government." The response came back quickly. It was broadcast on all communication channels so that the entire galaxy could hear it. The Nexari Chancellor may submit a formal written request through proper diplomatic channels. Just like any other minor species seeking our attention, the insult was deliberate and perfect. Vexatai had once told humans to watch and learn from their betters. Now humans were treating him exactly the way he had treated them. Vexatai's forehands clenched into fists. His purple skin turned darker with anger. But he needed human help too much to let pride get in the way. "Prepare a formal diplomatic request," he told his staff. "We will follow their procedures." Back on Earth, President John Tae-hyun read Vexatai's request in his office. The document was 12 pages long and filled with formal language that barely hid the Nexari leader's desperation. "He's offering us a permanent seat on a new Galactic High Council," Foreign Minister Lee So-young said as she reviewed the request, "plus exclusive trading rights in Nexari space, plus access to their military technology." "What does he want in return?" President John asked. "Human mediation to end the Alterian Crystalline War, human doctors to help with the plague, human engineers to stabilize the Andromeda Gateway. Basically, he wants us to fix everything that's gone wrong in the past year." President Jian looked at the offer carefully. It was generous, but it was also the same old arrangement with a new name. Humans would do all the work while aliens took credit for the results. "What's our response?" "I suggest we tell him we're reviewing his proposal and we'll get back to him in 6 months. 6 months? They made us wait 30 years for basic respect. They can wait 6 months for an answer. Meanwhile, the crisis at the Void War Memorial was reaching a critical point. Dr. Song Hee-jin had been wrong about the timeline. The containment field was failing faster than expected. Admiral Yang Soo-young of the Earth Defense Force was monitoring the situation from her command center on Luna Station. The reports from the memorial were terrifying. Containment field stability is down to 40%, her science officer reported. Reality distortions are appearing in normal space within a light year of the memorial. If the field collapses completely, the distortion wave could unravel the fabric of spacetime across 3 star systems. How many inhabited worlds would be affected? 17 worlds with a total population of 12 billion beings. Admiral Yang studied the tactical display. The memorial was surrounded by alien ships, but they were all staying at a safe distance. No alien species had the technology to fix the containment field. Any requests for assistance? 43 formal requests in the past month. From the Nexari, the Vorthak, the Thraxians, and 14 other species. They're all begging us to intervene. And our response? The standard reply. All requests should be directed to the Galactic Council. Dr. Kim Yun-soo was also monitoring the memorial crisis from her research lab on Mars. She had helped design the original containment system 12 years ago. She knew exactly how dangerous the situation was becoming. We could fix it, she told her research team during their morning meeting. A human science team could restore the containment field in 2 weeks. We have the technology and the expertise. Her assistant, Dr. Park Min-jun, asked the obvious question, so why aren't we doing it? Dr. Kim looked at the data showing 12 billion alien lives at risk. Then she remembered being called a lesser species. She remembered 30 years of thankless service ending in humiliation. Because they need to learn that actions have consequences. For 30 years we were their emergency repair service. Every time something went wrong, they called humans to fix it. But they never gave us the authority to prevent problems in the first place. So we're going to let 12 billion beings die to make a point? No, we're going to let the Galactic Council make a choice. They can give us real authority to prevent these disasters, or they can watch their civilization collapse. The Alterian crystalline war was also getting worse. What had started as a dispute over mining rights had spread to involve 7 different species alliances. The death toll was approaching 500 million. General Ro Seung-hwan was tracking the war from his office on Luna Station. The tactical situation was a mess. Both sides were using weapons that violated dozens of galactic treaties. Civilian populations were being targeted deliberately. The Crystalline Collective just destroyed the Alterian agricultural world of Ketha Prime, his intelligence officer, Han Ji-young, reported. 400 million civilians dead. The Alterians are promising retaliation against crystalline civilian targets. Any peace talks? Both sides refuse to negotiate with anyone except humans. They don't trust any other species to mediate fairly. What about the Galactic Council? The Council tried to send a Vorthak mediation team last month. Both sides rejected them. The Alterians said the Vorthak were too old to understand modern warfare. The Crystalline said the Vorthak had financial interests that made them biased. General Rowe reviewed the casualty reports. 500 million dead, and the number was growing every day. But the aliens had made their choice when they called humans a lesser species. The refugee crisis was also reaching a breaking point. The 10 million aliens on Haven were facing starvation as their life support systems failed. Refugee leader Mektos was sending increasingly desperate messages to Earth. Our children are dying, his latest message said. Please, we will accept any conditions. We will pay any price. Just send someone to help us fix our food production systems. Administrator Oh Hae-won read these messages from her new office at the Earth Colonial Development Agency. She had spent 7 years making Haven into a safe place for refugees. Now she watched it fall apart from thousands of light years away. We could save them, she told her supervisor. A small team of engineers could fix their food systems in a week. Then why aren't we doing it? Because saving them now would just create more problems later. Every time we rescue them from a crisis, they become more dependent on us. Then they complain when we ask for basic respect in return. The economic collapse was accelerating across the galaxy. Without human shipping networks, many worlds could not get the supplies they needed. Without human financial expertise, several major trade agreements had collapsed. Economist Lim Dong-hyun was tracking the disaster from his office at the Earth Treasury Department. The numbers were staggering. Galactic GDP has declined by 60%, he reported to the Treasury Council. Interstellar trade is down 85%. Unemployment on many alien worlds is above 50%. Are they asking for our help? Every day. The Nixari want us to take over their central banking system. The Thraxians want us to manage their currency. The Selkans want us to redesign their entire economy. And our response? We tell them to hire their own economists. Do they have economists who can handle galactic-scale problems? No. That's why they want us. The breaking point came when the Vorthak elders made an unprecedented decision. They formally apologized to humanity for their oversight and offered to restore full council membership with enhanced privileges. The apology was broadcast across the galaxy. Elder Thrakvan, who had supported calling humans a lesser species, spoke directly to Earth. The Vorthak acknowledge our error in judgment. Humanity has proven indispensable to galactic civilization. We offer full restoration of council membership with enhanced voting rights and authority over crisis management. The response came from Ambassador Oh Hai-Wan, who was now Earth's chief diplomat to the galaxy. Her reply was broadcast just as widely as the apology. Humanity appreciates the Vorthak elders' acknowledgement of their error. However, enhanced privileges within a fundamentally broken system hold no appeal. We await more substantial proposals, the message was clear. Humans were not interested in returning to the old system with better titles. They wanted real change, not cosmetic improvements. Behind the scenes, Earth's leadership was debating their options. President John Tae-hyun convened emergency sessions with his cabinet almost daily. The galaxy is collapsing, Foreign Minister Lee So-young reported. 12 billion beings could die if the memorial containment fails. 500 million are already dead from the Alterian crystalline war. Millions are starving on refugee worlds. Are you suggesting we should help them? I'm suggesting we need to decide what kind of species we want to be. Do we let billions die to make a point? Or do we find a way to help while ensuring we never get treated like lesser beings again? 18 months after humanity's exodus, the galaxy was dying. The Void War Memorial's containment field had 12 hours before complete failure. The Alterian crystalline war had killed over 500 million beings. The plague had spread to 86 worlds. Economic collapse had left entire star systems without basic supplies. In the emergency chambers of what remained of the Galactic Council, representatives from 43 species gathered for what everyone knew would be their final session. Chancellor Vextai of the Nexari looked older than his 800 years. His purple skin had faded to gray, and his forearms trembled as he called the session to order. The council faces total systemic failure, he announced to the nearly empty chamber. Many species had stopped sending representatives months ago. Our authority has collapsed. Our ability to govern has ended. We have one choice remaining. Elder Thrakvan of the Vorthak raised his massive head. The ancient turtle-like being had lived through 3 galactic ages, but he had never seen civilization collapse like this. The humans will not return under our leadership, the elder said slowly. They have made that clear. Our system is broken beyond repair. Representative Sekhai of the Thraxian Empire stood on his 6 legs. His insect-like features were more agitated than usual. Then what do you propose? That we surrender our sovereignty to a species we once called lesser? I propose we surrender our authority to the only species capable of preventing galactic extinction. Vextai replied. It is not surrender. It is survival. The debate that followed was brief. With billions of lives hanging in the balance and only hours before the memorial's containment failed, there was no time for extended arguments. The vote was unanimous. The Galactic Council formally dissolved itself and transferred all governmental authority to the human species. The message sent to Earth was simple. We surrender our authority. What are your terms? On Earth, President John Tae-hyun received the message in the middle of the night. He called an emergency session of the Earth Parliament for dawn. Representatives from every nation on Earth, plus the 12 million returned refugees from galactic space, gathered in New Seoul's parliamentary building. The debate was intense. Prime Minister Lee So-young argued for engagement. We have the power to save billions of lives and create a better system. With that power comes responsibility. Defense Minister Park Dong-wook disagreed. They only want us back because they're facing extinction. Once we save them, they'll go back to resenting our authority. Foreign Minister Yang Soo-young presented the middle position. We help them, but only under conditions that ensure this never happens again. Dr. Kim Yoon-soo, representing the scientific community, stood to speak. The memorial will fail in 8 hours. If we're going to act, we need to decide now. President John looked around the chamber at the faces of humanity's leaders. These were people who had been humiliated, called lesser beings, and forced to abandon their life's work. But they were also people who had spent their careers helping others. What are our terms? He asked the Parliament. The debate that followed shaped the future of galactic civilization. When it ended 6 hours later, humanity had crafted a new system of government unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The terms were revolutionary. First, the new Galactic Federation would operate on earned authority. Species would gain decision-making power based on their contributions to galactic stability, prosperity, and humanitarian aid. Humanity would start with maximum authority because of their proven track record. Second, humans would hold permanent veto power over any legislation affecting sapient rights or interstellar warfare. Never again would the galaxy be allowed to slide into the chaos that had killed so many. Third, all member species would contribute to a common defense fund and disaster response network. The fund would be managed by human administrators who had proven their competence. Fourth, the new galactic capital would be established at Luna Station. The Secretary General and Chief Military Coordinator would be human positions for the first 50 years. Fifth, any species that left the Federation would forfeit all trading rights and mutual defense agreements. Unity would be rewarded. Division would be punished. The terms were transmitted to the surviving alien governments with a simple message: accept these conditions completely, or handle your crises alone. The response was immediate and universal acceptance. With only 2 hours left before the memorial's containment failed, the aliens had no choice. Fleet Admiral Park Dong-wook led the emergency response to the Void War Memorial. His task force of 12 human vessels carried technology that had been developed during humanity's 18 months of isolation, new containment systems that were far superior to the old ones. Admiral Park stood on the bridge of his flagship as they approached the memorial. The space around the ancient artifact was twisted and wrong. Reality itself was bending as the containment field collapsed. Deploy the new containment generators, he ordered. Full power on my mark. The human ships worked with precision that amazed the alien observers watching from a safe distance. In 3 hours, they had stabilized the memorial and installed a permanent containment system that would last for centuries. As the crisis ended, Admiral Park received a message from the Nexari Chancellor, thanking humanity for saving 12 billion lives. His response was professional but cool. We did what needed to be done. The bill for our services will be forwarded to the Federation Treasury. While the memorial crisis was being resolved, Dr. Yu Nari led a massive medical intervention to stop the plague. Her teams deployed across 86 infected worlds with new treatments developed on Earth. The plague that had killed millions was stopped in 2 weeks. Human medical technology had advanced significantly during their isolation. What had once been a galaxy-threatening pandemic became a manageable disease. Director Yoon Min-jung of the new Galactic Health Organization coordinated the medical response from Luna Station. She made sure that every world received not just treatment, but training in human medical techniques. We're not just stopping the plague, she told her staff. We're teaching them how to prevent the next one. Emergency response is only part of the solution. Prevention is the rest. The Alterian crystalline war ended within a week of the new Federation's establishment. Both sides found themselves facing complete trade embargo and military intervention if they continued fighting. General Ro Seung-hwan personally delivered the ultimatum to both governments: end the war immediately and accept human mediation, or face the full military power of the new Federation. The Alterians and Crystallines discovered that human military technology had also advanced during the isolation period. Earth's defense fleet was now the most powerful force in the galaxy. Both sides agreed to peace talks within hours. The mediation process was different from the old human approach. Instead of finding compromise solutions, the humans imposed a settlement based on what was most beneficial for galactic stability. Both sides got some of what they wanted, but both also accepted restrictions that would prevent future conflicts. The refugee crisis on Haven was solved with typical human efficiency. A human relief fleet arrived within days of the Federation's establishment. But this time the refugees were not just saved. They were relocated to better worlds and given the training they needed to become self-sufficient. Administrator Oh Hee-won, now Director of Refugee Affairs, established a new policy. We help people help themselves. Permanent dependence helps no one. The economic recovery was the most dramatic change. With human shipping networks restored and human financial experts managing galactic trade, commerce recovered quickly. But the new economy was designed to be more stable and fair. Economist Lim Dong-hyun, now Secretary of Galactic Economics, implemented new trade regulations that prevented the economic chaos that had followed humanity's withdrawal. The old system collapsed because it was built on exploitation, he explained to the Federation Council. The new system is built on mutual benefit. 6 months after the Federation's establishment, Secretary General Kim Hyun addressed the inaugural session of the new Galactic Parliament from Luna Station. Behind him hung the banner of the United Federation, a symbol of unity that had emerged from the ashes of the old council. The galaxy has learned that cooperation is not a weakness to be exploited, but a strength to be earned, he declared to representatives from 200 species. Humanity did not seek dominion. It was thrust upon us by those who proved incapable of governing themselves. The irony was not lost on anyone present. By walking away, humanity had gained more power and respect than they had ever held as mediators. The galaxy had learned the hard way that some services are too important to take for granted. Chancellor Vextai, now serving as Deputy Secretary General, listened to Kim Hyun's speech from his seat in the front row. The Nexari leader, who had once called humans a lesser species, now reported to a human superior. But he had also learned to respect human competence in a way that the old council never had. We are partners now, not servants, Kim Hyun continued. But partnership requires mutual respect. The Federation exists to ensure that respect is maintained and that the mistakes of the past are never repeated. The new Federation faced many challenges. Some species resented human authority,